Good afternoon, everybody. I want to welcome you here to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So it's the beginning of the week. We've done one episode of the monthly series, which went this morning. That's just par for the course. That always happens. But generally speaking, this is where the week starts on this week. We're at episode number 107. So we're going to be talking first about the shows. That's what we normally do. I also talk about the series that we're running for the month. I may talk about upcoming series and upcoming shows that are going to go on, and we have a couple for that today. And also I may go back and talk about some mishaps. We've had only the one mishap this week, in which yesterday was supposed to be What's New, was supposed to come out at 8 o'clock. And I recorded it and had it ready to go, and for whatever reason, I was getting dressed to go out. I had to go somewhere, and I closed the computer, and when I went and opened it to upload the video, I had erased it, and I didn't have time to re-record it, so I did it, and it will come out at 2 o'clock today instead. I already did it. I did it first thing today. So anyways, we're on to this episode of this week. So the first show that normally comes out, for most of you who follow the channel regularly, and a couple of people have actually told me that they've missed the notification bell from an episode, and this has happened a few times now where people said that the notification didn't notify them, and I think I figured out why that happens. So normally I pre-record it, upload it, maybe a little time before it's due. And on a couple of occasions, I've just released it outright. So instead of set it as a scheduled thing, I've just released it immediately. And that's generally what happens. If I do that, what happens is you won't get a notification because it's not programmed in. So I do apologize if that happens. I'll try not to do that anymore, as I realized that was an effect that could possibly be causing it. So from now on, we'll schedule, even if it's 5 minutes before, so at least that you get some notification about it. Okay, so having said all that, we're going to go on with the show. As they say in Bugs Bunny Roadrun Hour, this is it. On with the show, this is it. So today we are doing the first episode, which normally comes out on a Sunday night after this episode, is called Commonalities Compared. Ben has given me a couple of people that I quite like, and they're from the same group, both doing vocals in the group, both members of the same group producing the same music. One of them primarily a vocalist with some instrumental skills, the other one primarily a keyboardist with some vocal skills. Yes, Kerry Minier of Gentle Giant and Derek Schulman of Gentle Giant. Excellent. I picked these two particular albums as they're two of my favorites. This one is their initial album. It has a lot of that Gentle Giant sound to it that is absolutely fantastic. This album, very different, but really showcasing their abilities as a band as far as their instrumentation going. And Kerry Minier, I think, may be at his best on this particular album. So yeah, so we'll be doing Kerry Minier and Derek Schulman on Commonalities Compared this week. The next show up is called Look Back at a Classic Rock Album. Oh yeah, by the way, the Commonalities comes out Sunday at 8 o'clock. I did forget that. Okay, on to the next show. Look Back at a Classic Rock Album, which comes out Monday at 8 o'clock. This is going to feature Supertramp's Crisis, What Crisis? This is the kind of the last of a 4-album run, and this one is the only one I haven't done for this show. And I've wanted to do it, but I put it off, and it's time now. This is one of the fantastic album covers. The more I look at it, the more humorous it is. So anyways, Supertramp's Crisis, What Crisis? That will be the album for Look Back at a Classic Rock Album this week. Then there's not going to be a Tuesday episode this week. Decades is finished, and I've altered a couple things, so there will be no Tuesday episode this week. We will be coming back with another series, and I'll get into that later as we go along in this episode. So the next thing I will also look back also is at Monday at 8 o'clock. So the next show, we're going to jump ahead to Wednesday, Favorites. This is probably the most popular show on the channel, although it hasn't been getting the views that it has. Maybe the topics aren't as good as they were. Trying to come up with some different stuff. So this one is going to be a 5 bands episode. So the 5 bands with twin guitarists. So basically bands that have 2 guitar players. I'm going to pick specifically, these bands will have twin guitarists, but they're going to be also lead guitarists. So they both play lead. I'm not going to have one guy who's a rhythm and another guy who's a lead. No, we're just going to go with 2 twin guitarists, so you get those twin soloing effects. So there will be 5 bands that we're going to talk about on that Favorites this week. The next episode up is called, and that will come out at 8 o'clock. I seem to be forgetting that today, so we're going to try something a little different here. So the next show comes out Thursday at 8 o'clock, ranking the songs, and I've chosen to do this album as it was in my 5 album runs, and they got the most views of any of the episodes in the 4 album runs was the Heart one. I think people absolutely love this group. I like this group a lot. They're one of my top favorite bands, as you know. And this is a fantastic album. Deserves to have an album song ranking. I think I didn't do it earlier because I think I may have used it as album sides. And so today we're going to do Heart's Dream. Well, not today, but Thursday night at 8 o'clock we will do, for ranking the songs, we will do Heart's Dreamboat Annie. The next show up, of course, is ranking the albums, which comes out on Friday at 9 o'clock. This one's a little bit later because I have a little more time to prepare it. Friday tends to be a little bit crazy at work, so I'm not quite sure sometimes when I'm going to get home. And when I do get home, I'm often tired and hungry, so I got to take care of those things first. So this is a show that Ben and me have worked out. He gives me the 4 albums that we rank here, and the 4 bands that it's of all of his choosing, and my job is to listen and rank them. And the 4 groups he's given me this week are the James Byrd, Asia, Bill Bruford, and Carlos Santana. So we'll be doing that. Those are the albums that we will be doing. Well, those are the groups we'll be doing. I'll talk more about the albums when we get to the show. So that'll be Friday at 9 o'clock. The next show up will be Saturday, and this one will be come out at 4. This is a one-off show, not something I normally do. I will be doing trying to do a little bit more one-offs, and I think I'm going to schedule a lot of them for that Saturday slot, just because it seems to work well. So this will come out at 4 on Saturday. This is my masterpiece albums. Once a year, I elevate 4 albums to that masterpiece status or more. In often case, it's more albums. I think this year it's going to be, I've got 17 albums to review and decide which of the ones I think I would like to make masterpiece. And I have this feeling it's going to be 6 this year. I think it'll be the most ever. Next year, I think, is going to be the beginning of a wild time with the masterpiece albums, because a bunch of albums will become eligible next year, because that's when the series started 3 years ago, and it's close to the line. But next year, a lot of these albums that I discovered in the first year of this channel should meet the criteria to be reviewed for masterpiece albums. So I think of the 17 albums that I have on review for this year, I think there's going to be probably 5 or 6 for sure. Anyways, that's what we're doing for the masterpiece albums. That will come out Saturday at 4 o'clock. And then the last show of the week, which is What's New, which comes out Saturday at 8 o'clock, will feature The Windmill and their album Mind Scares. That's the album for What's New this week. And so those are the regular shows we normally do every week. So moving on, just wanted to talk a little bit about the Tuesday night spot and also the Thursday night spot. Both those spots the Tuesday night spot is now completely vacant. So next week we'll be doing a new series that will run weekly. and it'll be 6 episodes. It's going to be a mini series which features artists who have done a lot of work. So we're going to call this Nomads. This was a suggestion by Ben. This is a brain thrust of his, an idea that he had. He's given me half a dozen guys to choose from. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 3 of those guys that he gave me and add 3 of my own. And so we'll have 6 and do 6 episodes, which will start the following Tuesday, normal time, 8 o'clock Tuesday night. And this will run every week for 6 weeks, in which we'll talk about one of these artists that has become somewhat of a nomad. He seems to be here, he seems to be there, he seems to be everywhere, here, there, and everywhere, So we'll be doing that starting on the Tuesday next week. The other move on the channel will be the move of taking album sides is going to become a once-off show now. It'll go in with the pack of once-off shows I have, which I haven't done a lot of, but it'll be down there. Probably get the odd show here and there. And it will be replaced in that spot because I want to make this continue to be a bi-weekly show. So we have ranking the songs on Thursday one week, which we're doing this week. Next week will be the premiere of Not What We Hoped For, which will move from the Tuesday slot to the Thursday slot and be the second show, and will have its show run on the opposite week of ranking the songs. Ranking the songs. So that's the only moves at this present time. I do have a couple of other things in the works and a live stream that I'm planning to do as well. There are a few other things that have to happen structurally here before I can get to that. And once that's gone, then I will do at least 1 week. Every week I will do a live stream. And that show, I'm thinking, will be Rush oriented. It's going to be every week talking about something about Rush. And I have a title for it, but I won't get to it until I actually get to the point where I can actually do the show. So anyways, that's what's happening as far as the main shows that go every week. So for now, onto the series for the month. The current series we're running are 30 bands that I have yet to follow. Sorry, got a little bit of a dry throat there. 30 bands that I have. Wow. 30 bands that I have yet to follow. And I want to make it clear about this. So there's a couple things about this series that people should know. First of all, that it's not a ranking, so there's none of these are my worst or first or whatever, any of that stuff. These are just 30 bands, so it's going to be random that way. The other thing about it is that all the bands I like, or I've at least liked what I've heard of them, and for whatever reason I haven't gone on to pursue them. And hopefully I'm going to discover why I haven't gone on to pursue them, so that maybe I will go on to pursue them, right? So anyways, we have the 6 bands, or 7 bands, because we did one this morning, which was Wild Cherry. If you haven't seen it, you can go back and watch that this morning. They are the first band of that sort. The other ones, for Monday, we will have Jefferson's Airplane for the second episode. For the third episode, we will have Grand Funk Railroad. For the fourth episode, we are going to move into the more modern era, although not too modern, but more modern than those ones. Porcupine Tree. Next up is Toto on the Thursday. On the Friday, we will have Procol Harum. And then on Saturday, we will have Trooper, a Canadian band that I've long liked. I like a lot of their stuff, but for whatever reason, I didn't pursue any kind of discography collector thing with them. And I think that will change this year. I think some of these bands are going to make some headway with me that way. So those are the bands that we're going to be doing for this week, and we will continue with this show till the end of September. And then so having said that, the next series up will be my favorite albums from the year 1982. That'll be the series for October. That one will take some time to put together, obviously, and because there's so many good albums that year, was probably the reason I chose that year is because it's the year the kind of the last year of my peak era, which was from 78 to 82. Then from there, it kind of starts to go down a bit until 85 when it almost all but disappears for a while. So anyways, that's what we're doing for the upcoming series. I think that's everything that I wanted to talk to you about today. I do have a couple of other shows in mind. However, it'll depend on how some of the current shows go as to when I might enter them in and replace some of the current shows. I may go with a more bi-weekly thing with some of the episodes as well. But for now, that's the way it's going to stay. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Please hit the like and subscribe and notification bell. All these things help my channel and help me create more content and help me get more stuff to actually talk about, which is, a big deal. And I want to thank all the people who subscribe regularly and watch my channel regularly, and all those new people that are coming on. I'm hoping to continuously upgrade and get better and stronger and more entertaining, and that's what it's all about, really. It's just talking about the music. That's what we want. So anyways, please, any comments that you have, leave below. I'm going to be going back through, I got a ton of comments. I usually comment on everything, but I don't always make notes about them. There's a few people that have made suggestions for shows, and I have to go back, look through, and make notes about those and think about how I'm going to do that. I do apologize if it seems I take forever to do these things, but I work 50 to 55 hours a week, and this show probably takes maybe 20 hours a week to put all these stuff together. So then that doesn't leave time for eating and sleeping, which are two of my favorite hobbies. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this. We will see you next Sunday with another episode of This Week. So take care, and everybody have a good day and a good afternoon and a good evening. Take care. Bye.